I'm curious as to your thoughts about West Virginia defensively. I know they lost a large amount of players from last year. What do you see when you watch them this week?
Well, you know, they're a physical football team. They're a quick football team. You know, they're a little different schematically than what you see game in and game out. So that part of it takes some time to work against. I think they've got the ability to run. You know, got for the most part new guys in the back end, but they all run pretty well. I think they do a nice job of scheming. You know, they do an awful lot of things. You know, we'll see a variety of different looks, both in the back end, meaning the secondary, and up front. We'll see a lot of, you know, there's a lot of blitzes and movements with their guys up front. It's just, you know, it's just a little different picture than what you might normally see. But they're good at it, and they're getting better. You see the, you know, improvement from week to week. You know, the numbers haven't been great for them, but you know, they played some, you know, pretty decent offensive football teams, and they've you know, they've been able to have success when they needed it.
Coach, you guys being able to have some success running the ball. We know West Virginia's numbers in rushing defense. What I'm sure you're going to say is better than the alternative, but what's maybe the benefit of being able to get your rushing game going heading into the Big 12 season here?
Well, I'm not thinking about it in terms of the conference season. I was thinking about it in terms of West Virginia. And it would be the same week in and week out. It becomes very significant for us because, once again, we want to have balance in our offense. And if they take away one aspect of it, then we become, you know, left-handed, so to speak. And takes away the balance of our offense, and we can't afford for that to happen. Now, you know, that being said, in the last 2 years, we haven't run the ball well against West Virginia. I think in 2 years combined, 14 and 15, collectively we have less, or right at 100 yards rushing. So, you know, we haven't had the kind of success that we need to have, really, to have a more balanced offense. Now, we threw the ball, you know, well in both of those ball games, or reasonably well. We got big plays against them, and that, you know, sometimes that's what happens when, you know, you put all your marbles in one basket. You make yourself a little weaker in some other areas, and we were fortunate to be able to get some big plays in those two ball games.
Any clarity with the running back personnel coming out of the 2 quarters you did play Saturday?
Say that again.
Any further clarity? You had mentioned that your hope was to go into conference play with maybe more defined 1, 2, 3, 4 on the depth chart at running back. Was there any clarity given to which direction you wanted to go at that position based upon just playing 2 quarters?
Okay, yeah, I get it. Not really. No, I mean, I was very sincere when I said I would like for it to be more definitive, but you know, maybe part of it being just half a ball game. But I don't think anybody, you know, just jumped out and said, "I'm the guy." So, let's see. What is the?
I have no idea what that is. I think that's Walter's stomach.
Incorrect. Coach, I got another question then.
Well, of course.
Just another question on Jesse Ertz. He says, "I've been counted out so many times I couldn't count it." You've had so many players of your career and on your teams that have been counted out at some point in their life. How have you seen that maybe motivate Jesse, the fact that people might count him out?
Well, you know, obviously, if he, you know, made that statement, then it has had, you know, an impact and caused him to be more highly motivated. But I think most of the players, you know, Jesse's a reasonably quiet young guy. and it doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeve. And I think it was ingrained in him since he was a young fellow that if you're going to play quarterback, you got to be cool and all that goes along with it. So he kind of presents that image that nothing affects him. But I don't think any of us really can do that, and he just hides it well, I guess. But I think those things have an impact on him like they would most anyone. If you really care, which he does, if you really want to do well, which he does. So I think, that's probably provided some motivation for him.
These 2 quarters that you just played, when you broke it down, what impressed you most upon further review of Jesse's performance?
Well, again, kind of what I said a moment ago, he's kind of let the game slow down for him a little bit and be able to react to a variety of different situations, some of which, occur 1 or 2 times in your lifetime, on the field, and you just never know what it is or when they present themselves, and he's able to react to them well, and I thought he did, and I thought he, like I said, he threw the ball reasonably well. In the ball game, had with the exception of a drop, would have been 100%. Although there were a couple throws that weren't as good as you would like for them to be, that were still completed passes. But that's nitpicking, right now. So I think he made some headway in all of it.
West Virginia's defense plays a style that's pretty.
Say that again.
West Virginia's defense is a style that's pretty unique in college football. Just given that they do line up differently than most teams, is there anything special you do on offense or defense to prepare for that?
Well, our preparation is centered just around doing, what we believe is most functional against what they do, which is true any week, regardless of whether it's a defense that you haven't seen, much of. there are certain things that I probably wouldn't share here, that you would want to be able to put offensively on the field in order to try to have success against a different look than what you might normally see from game to game. I don't know if that addressed what you...
You said Shane Howard looks like a better quarterback this year than he did last year. I was just curious, after watching him on film, in what ways do you think he's better? He's a better thrower, better runner, both?
Well, I think, once again, kind of like Jesse, I think just having been on the field and experienced it so much has given him the, ability to, probably playing with a little bit more confidence, which allows him to make decisions a little bit quicker and the right decisions, a little bit quicker. I think throwing the football, he seems to be more accurate. He seems to, know when to flush with the ball and bring it down, pull it out, and run with the ball well. I think his receiver selection has gotten, improved. So I think a little bit of all of it. And I don't think it was, that his skill level has necessarily changed dramatically. I think it's, once again, just, hundreds and hundreds of repetitions that he didn't have, a year ago.
Last week we saw more of Will Ash at offensive guard. Is he taking a step forward and using his experience to get more playing time now?
He has. He'll go into this week, and at least as of this moment, he's will start, for us. It's still competitive between he and Mitchell, but he's listed as number 1 right now. We'll practice that way.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you all.